Let me just start this off by saying the lion does not concern itself with the opinions of the sheep.
Hey, I'm a fish, not a sheep.
I just read that in regards to people talking about Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders. Someone was like nobody who plays Battlefield 6 cares about Arc Raiders.
That's funny. It is so good, though. It is so good. Like, I wouldn't be saying it's so good if it wasn't. Like, I was totally, disappointed with 2042, and I wanted it.
Have you seen the Marvel Rivals zombie mode gameplay?
No. I'm too encapsulated.
Dude, we're going to play that. Check it out.
We will. That'll be cool.
There's only select characters that you can play as, but lucky for you, Punisher is one of them. It's like directly inspired by Marvel Zombies.
Oh, that makes sense. It's not like Call of Duty Zombies. I wish
Yeah,
it
like,
kind of was.
you know how Wanda is like the zombie queen?
Yeah.
So she's the main boss of this game mode.
Oh, all right. I gotcha. She's
And
like the
Namor's another boss.
Yeah.
You love Marvel Zombies, so I'd be surprised if you didn't play this. You can play as
Maybe.
Punisher. You can play as Blade. I think it's your time to like start playing Blade because it's also. Have you watched the Marvel Zombies?
The show, yeah.
You watch. So I haven't seen it, but I've been spoiled by plenty of it. Spoiled on plenty of it. Blade is the Fist of Khonshu.
Yeah.
That version of Blade is who you play as in this game if you play Blade.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, his ultimate summons Fists of Khonshu.
That's cool.
His ultimate is the fusion of his ultimate with Moon Knight's ultimate.
That's a pretty dope
so it's
part.
It's Blade, it's Punisher, it's Magic, it's Thor, and there might be another one. I think it's just those, but there might be another.
Hey, Thor's a weird one.
Thor is a weird one, but
yeah.
Hey, I've never been fond of playing Thor in that game. I just maybe haven't really given it enough chance, but
yeah,
I play Magic more than anything, so I'm all set. I got Magic.
All right, you ready to launch this?
I'm thinking I actually don't want to do vampires versus werewolves, but maybe we will. What are our other options again?
That we can do the tapping into the universe one where we talk about like paganistic shit like Samhain and magic and shit.
Let's talk about it tonight.
Samhain, Gaelic festival on the 1st of November, marking the end of the harvest season and the beginning of the winter, the darker half of the year. There's also the Irish and Scottish Gaelic name for November. Celebrations begin on the evening of the 31st of October. Since the Celtic day began and ended at sunset, this is about halfway between the autumnal equinox and winter solstice. It is one of the 4 Gaelic seasonal festivals along with the Imbolc, Bealtaine, and the Lugnaja. Historically, it was widely observed throughout Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man. Its Brittonic Celtic equivalent is called the Caelan Gaeth in Wales. Samhain is believed to have Celtic pagan origins, and some Neolithic passage tombs in Great Britain and Ireland are aligned with the sunrise at the time of Samhain. As a festival for communing with the ancestors, however, it may predate the Celtic era. A number of stone circles and dolmens, including, for example, Avebury, exhibit a west-southwest alignment, the azimuth angle of the setting sun on the 31st of October. Samhain is mentioned in the earliest Irish literature from the 9th century and is associated with many important events in Irish mythology. The early literature says Samhain was marked by great gatherings and feasts and was when the ancient burial mounds were open, which were seen as portals of the other world. Some of the literature also associates Samhain with bonfires and sacrifices. The festival was not recorded in detail until the early modern era. It was when cattle were brought down from the summer pastures and livestock were slaughtered. Special bonfires were lit, which were deemed to have protective and cleansing powers. Like Bealtaine, Samhain was a liminal or a threshold festival, when the boundary between this world and the other world blurred.
Yeah, it still is.
It is.
That's never changed.
Making contact with the AOC, the spirits or fairies, more likely. Most scholars see them as remnants of pagan gods. At Samhain, they were appeased with offerings of food and drink to ensure the people and livestock survived the winter. The souls of dead kin were also thought to revisit their home seeking hospitality, and a place
When
was
did
set.
was it still Samhain when they started the whole dressing up as these things for the festival? Like,
I don't know.
or is that just Halloween?
I don't know. This is as far as I've gotten.
Merry Samhain.
The souls of dead kin were also thought to revisit their home seeking hospitality, and a
Hell yeah.
place was set at the table for them during a meal.
Always.
Mumming and geezing were part of the festival from at least the early modern era, whereby people
Mumming, is that like acting?
I don't know,
Because in Game of Thrones,
are
well,
folk plays performed by
Yep.
troops of amateur actors.
Yeah, mummers. I only know that because of A Song of Ice and Fire.
Mumming and geezing were part of the festival from at least early modern era, whereby people went door to door in costume, reciting verses in exchange for food. The
Beautiful.
costume, yeah. The
That's like
costumes,
caroling.
yeah, it kind of is like caroling.
There's such a strong bond with Halloween and Christmas.
There is. It's kind of weird, but it's cool.
It's really cool. I feel like Halloween is gonna become bigger than Christmas soon. I can't wait.
Become bigger than Christmas. I mean, maybe.
It's gonna be bigger than Christmas. Once people start giving gifts on Halloween, it's over.
It's over. The costumes may
They
have
already
been a
like they
way.
used to. Isn't that what they used to do?
I don't know.
Didn't they also give gifts, not just food?
I don't know. It just says in exchange for food. The costumes may have been a way of imitating and disguising oneself from the AOC. Divination was also a big part of the festival and often involved nuts and apples. In the late
Why are people
19th
trying to hide from AOC?
AOC. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that right. AOSSI. AOSI? AOC? ASI?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Look that one up. Look that up on Google.
Eshi. The
Of course,
Eshi.
it's not going to be pronounced how it looks.
Yeah.
Of course not. We're talking Celtic.
Yeah, it's nothing like what it looks like. Eshi.
Is
Divination was
Celtic Gaelic?
I don't know. You're asking all the wrong wrong person the wrong questions.
I'm asking all the right questions to the wrong person.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. The costumes may have been a way of imitating and disguising oneself from the Ishi. Divination was also a big part of the festival and often involved nuts and apples. In the late 19th century, John Rees and James Fraser suggested it had been the Celtic New Year, but that it is disputed. In the 9th century, the Western Church endorsed the 1st of November as the date of All Saints' Day, possibly due to the influence of the Alcuin. Maybe I should see how to pronounce that.
So you got Demon's Day, then Halloween, then Saints' Day.
Yeah, All Saints' Day.
All Saints' Day. Celebrate all of the saints.
Oh, this one was pretty much like how I thought it would be pronounced. Alcuin, or Irish missionaries, and the 2nd of November later became All Souls' Day. It is believed that Samhain and All Saints / All Souls influenced each other and the modern Halloween. Most American Halloween traditions were inherited from the Irish and Scottish immigrants. Folklorists have used the name Samhain to refer to Gaelic Halloween customs until the 19th century. Since the later 20th century, Celtic neo-pagans and Wiccans have observed Samhain or something based on it as a religious holiday. Samhain was the name of the festival marking the beginning of the winter in Gaelic Ireland. It is attested in the earliest Old Irish literature, which dates from the 9th century onward. Samhain was one of the Gaelic seasonal festivals. So it was Gaelic.
Cool.
All right, let's see. The literature says a peace would be declared. There were great gatherings where they held meetings, feasted, drank alcohol, and held contests. These gatherings are a popular setting for early Irish tales. Let's see. According to Irish mythology, Samhain was a time when the doorways to the otherworld opened, allowing supernatural beings and the souls of the dead to come into our world. While Beltane was a summer festival for the living, Samhain was essentially a festival for the dead. The Boyhood Deeds of Fionn says that Sidhi fairy mounds or portals to the otherworld were always open at Samhain. Each year, the fire breather Aelin emerges from the otherworld and burns down the palace of Tara during the Samhain festival after lulling everyone to sleep with his music. One Samhain, the young Fionn Mac Cumhale stays awake and slays Aelin with a magical spear, for which he is made a leader of Fianna. In a similar tale, one Samhain, the otherworld being Kuldba, emerges from the burial mound on Sleevenamana. I can't even. This one's gonna be tough. Sleevenam. Hold on. Let me look at the pronunciation. This is a real place. Sleebnaban emerges from the burial mound on Sleebnaban and snatches a roast pig. Fionn kills Kuldba with a spear throw as he re-enters the mound, and Fionn's thumb is caught between the door and post as it shuts. He puts it in his mouth to ease the pain. As his thumb has been inside the otherworld, Fionn is bestowed with a great wisdom. This may refer to gaining knowledge from the ancestors. A columna Sinarak, Colloquy of the Elders, tells how 3 female werewolves emerge from the cave of Cruachan,
Whoa.
an otherworld portal, each Samhain and kill livestock. When Cascarach plays his harp, they take on human form, and the Fianna warrior Caelit then slays them with the spear. Yeah, that's pretty cool about the werewolves.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Some tales suggest that offerings or sacrifices were made at Samhain. In the Labor Gala Aren, or the Book of Invasions, each Samhain the people of Nemed had to give 2/3 of their children, their corn, and their milk to the monstrous Fomorians. Let me look up who the Fomorians are real quick. Hostile and monstrous beings. Originally, they were said to come from under the sea or the earth. Later, they were portrayed as sea raiders and giants. That sounds a little familiar.
Mm.
The Fomorians seem to represent the harmful or destructive powers of nature, personifications of chaos, darkness, death, blight, and drought. This tribute paid by Nemed's people may represent a sacrifice offered at the beginning of winter, when the powers of darkness and blight are in the ascendant. According to the later Decentius and Annals of the Four Masters, which were written by Christian monks, Samhain in ancient Ireland was associated with a god or idol called Crom Cruach. The text claimed that a firstborn child would be sacrificed at the stone idol of Crom Cruach in Mag Klesh. They say that King Tigern Mas and 3/4 of his people died while worshipping Crom Cruach there one
This is just what some
Samhain.
people say is what it was that didn't know. This sounds like bullshit.
I don't know, maybe. Tigern Mas, son of Falash, son of Ithriel, a descendant of Eraman, was, according to medieval Irish legend and historical traditions, an early king of Ireland. According to Labor Gabala Eren, he became king when he overthrew his predecessor Con Mael in the Battle of Onesh Masha, and within a year of his ascension had won 27 battles against the descendants of Eberfin, almost completely destroying Eber's line. It is said that during his reign, gold was first smelted in Ireland. By the right Lushaden, Tigern Mas was the first king to give drinking horns to his followers, and the first to have clothes dyed purple, blue, and green, and decorated with brooches, fringes, and ornaments. 7 lakes and 3 rivers burst from the ground during his reign, and after reigning for 77 years, or 100 years according to the Book of Fanog, he and 3/4 of the men of Ireland died on Mag Shlet while worshipping Crom Cruach, a cruel deity propitiated with human sacrifice. According to the Annals of Four Masters, Ireland was without a high king for 7 years after his death before Eosh Udash took the kingship. Where was I? So that was about that guy. The legendary kings Dermate Mac Serbail and Murkash Mac Arkay each die a 3-fold death on Samhain, which involves wounding, burning, and drowning, and of which they are forewarned. In the tale Togail Brudnay da Durga, the destruction of the Durga's hostel, King Cornair Moore also meets his death on Samhain after breaking his Giza prohibitions or taboos. He is warned of his impending doom by 3 undead horsemen who are messengers of Dawn, the god of the dead. The boyhood deeds of Fionn tells how each Samhain the men of Ireland went to woo a beautiful maiden who lives in the fairy mound on Brielle, Crogan Hill. It says that each year someone would be killed to mark the occasion by persons unknown. Some academics suggest that these tales recall human sacrifice and argue that several ancient Irish bog bodies, such as the old Crogan man, appear to have been kings who were ritually killed, some of them around the time of Samhain.
This is amazing.
Yeah. In the Extra-Narray, the adventure of Nera, King Alil of Canash set his retinue a test of bravery on Samhain night. He offers a prize to whoever can make it to get a gallows and tie a band around the hanged man's ankle. Demons thwart each challenger who runs back to the king's hall in fear. However, Nera succeeds, and the dead man asks for a drink. Nera carries him on his back, and they stop at 3 houses. They enter the third, where the dead man drinks and spits on the householders, killing them. Returning, Nera sees a fairy host burning the king's hall and slaughtering those inside. He follows the host through a portal into the other world. Nera learns that what he saw was only a vision of what will happen the next Samhain unless something is done. He returns to the hall and warns the king. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Continue.
Many other events in Irish mythology happen or begin on Samhain. The invasion of Ulster that makes up the main action of the Tain Bow Collage, the cattle raid of Cooley, begins on Samhain. As cattle raiding typically was a summer activity, the invasion during this off-season surprised the Ulstermen. The Second Battle of Mag Taraid also begins on Samhain. The Morrigan and the Dagda meet and have sex before the battle against the Fomorians. What the hell?
Nice. Continue.
Nice. In this way, the Morrigan acts as sovereignty figure and gives the victory to the Dagda's people. The Tuatha De Danann in Esling Ogusa, the dream of Oangus. Oangusa.
Oangus.
Yeah,
Oangus.
the dream of Oangus. It is when
Dream
he and his
of
bride-to-be
Oangus.
would switch from bird to human form, and in Tushmark Etain, the wooing of Etain, it is the day of which Oangus claims the kingship of Bruna Boine. Several sites in Ireland are specially linked to Samhain. Each Samhain, a host of otherworldly beings was said to emerge from the cave of Cruachan in County Roscommon. The Hill of Ward in County Meath is thought to have been the site of the Great Samhain gathering and bonfire. The Iron Age ring fort is said to have been where the goddess or druid Talashka gave birth to triplets and where she later died. In the Stations of the Sun, a history of the ritual year in Britain in 96, Ronald Hutton writes, no doubt there were pagan religious observances as well, but none of the tales ever portrays any. The only historical reference to pagan religious rites is the work of Geoffrey Keating, died 1644, but his source is unknown. Hutton says it may be that no religious rites are mentioned because centuries after Christianization, the writers had no record of them. Hutton suggests Samhain may not have been particularly associated with the supernatural. He says that the gatherings of royalty and warriors on Samhain may have been an ideal setting for such tales, in the same way that many Arthurian tales are set at the courtly gatherings at Christmas or Pentecost. Let's see. Historical customs. Bonfires. They were lit on hilltops at Samhain, and there were rituals involving them. Divination. The bonfires were used in divination. In the 18th century, Octir, a ring of stones, one for each person, was laid around the fire, perhaps on a layer of ash. Everyone then ran around it with a torch, exulting. In the morning, the stones were examined, and if any were mislaid, It was said that the person it represented would not live out the year. A similar custom was observed in the North Wales and in Brittany. James Fraser suggests that it may come from an older custom actually burning them, i.e., human sacrifice, or it may have always been symbolic. Divination has likely been a part of the festival since ancient times and has survived in some rural areas. At household festivities throughout the Gaelic regions in Wales, many rituals were intended to divine the future of those gathered, especially concerning death and marriage. Apples and hazelnuts were often used in these divination rituals and games. In Celtic mythology, apples were strongly associated with the otherworld and immortality, while hazelnuts were associated with divine wisdom. One of the most common games was apple bobbing. Another involved hanging a small wooden rod from the ceiling at head height. With a lit candle on one end and an apple hanging from the other, the rod was spun around and everyone took turns to try to catch the apple with their teeth. Apples were peeled in one long strip and the peel tossed over the shoulder, and its shape was said to form the first letter of the future spouse's name. 2 hazelnuts were roasted near a fire, one named for the person roasting them and the other one for the person they desired. If the nuts jumped away from the heat, it was a bad sign, but if the nuts roasted quietly, it foretold an excellent match. Items were hidden in food, usually a cake, barmbrack, crinichon, champ, or sowens, and portions of it served out at random. A person's future was foretold by the item they happened to find. For example, a ring meant marriage and a coin meant wealth. A salty oatmeal bannock was baked. The person ate it in 3 bites and then went to bed in silence without anything to drink. This was said to result in a dream in which their future spouse offers them a drink to quench their thirst. Egg whites were dropped in water and the shapes foretold the number of future children. Young people would also chase cows and divine some of these things from the number of birds or the direction they flew. That's interesting. Spirits and souls. Samhain was seen as a liminal time when the boundary between the world and the other world could more easily be crossed. This meant the Ishi, the spirits or fairies, could more easily come into our world. Many scholars see the Ishi as remnants of pagan gods and nature spirits. At Samhain, it was believed that the Ishi needed to be propitiated to ensure that the people and their livestock survived the winter. Offerings of food and drink would be left out for the Ishi, and portions of the crops might be left in the ground for them. One custom described as a blatant example of a pagan rite surviving into the Christian epoch was recorded in the Outer Hebrides and Iona in the 17th century. On the night of the 31st of October, fishermen and their families would go down to the shore. One man would wade into the water up to his waist, where he would pour out a cup of ale and ask Sionade, Shoni, whom he called the god of the sea, to bestow on them a good catch. The custom was ended in the 1670s after campaign by ministers, but the ceremony shifted to the springtime and survived until the early 19th century. People also took special care not to offend the Ishi and sought to ward off anyone out to cause mischief. They stayed near to home, or if forced to walk in the darkness, turned their clothing inside out, or carried iron or salt to keep them at bay. In Southern Ireland, it was customary on Samhain to weave a small cross of sticks and straw called a partial or partial. It was similar to the Bridget's cross and a god's eye. It was fixed over the doorway to ward off bad luck, sickness, and witchcraft, and would be replaced each Samhain. The dead were also honored at Samhain. The beginning of winter may have been seen as the most fitting time to do so, as it was the time of dying in nature. The souls of the dead were thought to revisit their homes seeking hospitality. Places were set at the dinner table and by the fire to welcome them. The belief that the souls of the dead would return home on one night of the year and must be appeased seems to have ancient origins and is found in many cultures throughout the world. James Fraser suggests it was perhaps a natural thought that the approach of winter would drive the poor, shivering, hungry ghosts from the bare fields and the leafless woodlands to the shelter of the cottage. However, the souls of thankful kin would return to bestow blessings just as easily as that of a wronged person could return to wreak revenge. Interesting.
We should start getting into like what people do further and further in time, like as like things that people can do practically for magic and how that can help them on Halloween.
All right. Here are some magic spells and rituals which were common at Halloween back in the day throughout the country. Halloween has traditionally been an enjoyable festival celebrated in Irish homes, marking the eve of Samhain, the day before November 1st, the Ichi Shamna on October 31st is one of the many festivals that Irish immigrants exported abroad, and so it took root across the world. Most of us are familiar with the enduring Irish Halloween customs of dressing in disguise, playing games such as Snap Apple, and foods such as barmbrack and coal cannon. I don't know what barmbrack is, but it does sound pretty good. Perhaps not so familiar are some of the divination and spells that could be practiced at Halloween. You didn't need to be qualified witch or wizard. Anyone could do so in the comfort of their own homes. Such practices were thought to have a better chance of working with undertaken at certain liminal times of the year, such as Halloween, when it was believed that supernatural forces were active and powerful. Divination means going to see into the future. People tried to predict who they would marry, what the weather would be like, who would die next in the family, and so on. The Roman Catholic Church frowned on such practices, but this did not stop people from indulging. The most popular form of marriage divination on Halloween is still with us today, and that is the concealed ring in a barmbrack. Whoever got the slice with the ring was next to get married. In the past, bracks contained lots of other items baked into them. To prophesy the future, a rag meant poverty. A coin indicated wealth, and so on. Beyond the brack, traditional Halloween marriage divination involved a huge variety and a number of rituals and beliefs, some of which you would try today. It was believed one future husband or wife might appear in a dream on Halloween night if one placed certain objects such as a piece of iron, cabbage leaf, or a piece of yarrow under the pillow. It was believed that if someone ate large quantities of salty food before bedtime, their future spouse would appear in their dreams offering them a drink of water. We
Yeah,
already
we
went
talked
over
about
a
this.
lot of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just like things that how we can do that practice.
So if we want to do a marriage practice, here we go.
If we're trying to get married to each other, here we go. Continue.
This is to each other. I thought this just meant
No,
like
I'm
in
kidding.
general.
Continue.
One long apple peel thrown over the shoulders to the ground was examined to see if it formed an initial of a future spouse. Snails were employed in a similar way. They were put in ashes or floor, and their slime tracks were examined to see if they looked like the initials of a future husband or wife. Okay. If a girl washed a cloth in a stream and hung it on a thorn bush on Halloween night, her future husband's face would appear on it. Similarly, if one went to a stream flowing south, dipped the cloth into the water, and looked to the opposite bank, they would see the shape of their future spouse in the shadows. If someone threw a ball of wool out of their window and it hit the ground but did not catch on anything, they would never marry. Wow, that one sounds sad. Another custom involved a girl blindfolded collecting a cabbage from the garden. If she took a healthy one with green leaves and strong roots, it meant a good husband, though one with withered leaves and a few roots did not bode well. Oof. Another ritual was that pairs of small objects such as beans were named for a certain boy and girl dropped into water. If one sank, the couple would not marry. If both floated, it meant an unhappy marriage, and if both sank, there would be a happy marriage. Similar customs involved hazelnuts or chestnuts, named for couples and placed in the embers of the fire. If the heat caused the nuts to jump apart, it indicated an unstable marriage. If one went on fire, it meant certain death. Oof. A pair remaining side by side and intact was a good prophecy for the all the family could take turns in a group divination that predicted death in the family. These rituals were often taken more seriously than marriage divination. I was going to say, it seemed like marriage divination was pretty willy-nilly with their rituals. These rituals, especially those conducted on January 6th. Why January 6th? When candles were selected for each family member, with the first ones to burn out indicating the order in which they would die. The Halloween ritual of Ask the Saucers went thus. Various saucers were set out, each containing a material or substance. The person was blindfolded and had to choose a saucer. If they chose the one containing water, it meant that they would go on a sea journey. If they chose salt, it meant wealth. If they chose a ring, it meant marriage, and if they chose clay, it meant death. Halloween spells and love magic. Halloween was believed to be a good time to cast spells for either good or bad purposes. There is such a thing as magic, wrote the renowned scholar John O'Donovan, and it is practiced even at this day in Ireland. If one found a briar rooted at both ends on Halloween night and were willing to crawl through it, the belief was that they could get evil spirits to help them with malevolent deeds. Many spells promised invisibility to the person. There was one particular complex spell involving 13 pewter plates to collect fern
See,
seeds, which required
This is
great
what I'm talking
dedication.
about. This is what
Yep.
I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about the evil side of it. Like, imagine doing this, but not for evil. Imagine doing this and you're just like, hey guys, I just want to help with some other things that aren't evil. Or like, hey, I'm looking for the non-evil guys. Can you get me in contact with them?
Yeah. It was thought that love spells made at this time would be most effective. A simple and consensual love spell was to hold a sprig of mint in the palm of one's hand, then take the hand of your loved one and keep the two hands closed over the mint with no words spoken for a short time. The preparation and enactment of other love spells were considered to be loaded with danger. The latter usually had to be secretly mixed into the food of the person who was to be enchanted. One love potion was 10 dried powdered leaves of hemlock to be swallowed. That's not good. The liver of a black cat. Hemlock can be pretty deadly. You're basically poisoning your spouse at that point. The liver of a black cat, if dried and ground and taken in a drink, it was considered an aphrodisiac. Oh, so that goes into why they don't do black cat adoptions.
Yep, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Terrifying. That's poor kittens. Poor little kittens.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Leave them alone.
Yeah, a rather grotesque spell practiced in Ireland, not just at Halloween, was termed Drimiel Aegis Thorial by Lady Jane Wilde. In quaint Irish customs and superstitions, it could only be undertaken by a woman determined enough to exhume a male corpse and to carefully cut off a section of its skin. O'Donovan noted that the skin had to be taken from the corpse in one long strip from the head to the heel, having to
What the hell?
having to contain a part at each of the forehead, of the nose, of the chin, of the skin and hair, of the breast, of the belly, of the pubes. That's fucked up.
That's fucking weird. That's some crazy shit that like Kim Kardashian and her family are doing in secret.
Oh, it gets better. The woman then had to wear the strip of skin around her waist for 3 nights while praying to the devil.
Yep.
She then had to tie the skin around the man she desired as he slept, either to his wrist or to tie two legs together, and then remove it when he woke.
This would be great for a horror movie.
Yeah, this would be pretty great.
Somebody do this.
When he woke, the man would be bound by the spell and forced to marry the woman, cursed to be forever in her thrall. That's crazy.
You know the witch from Weapons?
Yeah.
It'd be cool because I heard they're going to do a prequel for her now, or at least that people are demanding it. I thought I heard that they're actually going to go for it. I don't know if Zach Kreger's involved. He should be, but how cool would it be if like she's doing other magic, like that's different from what she does in that movie, and like we see her do this ritual to like because it's her origin story. It's like when she's younger, so she's actually trying to get like a man, and that's like one way you can get someone that's one way to get somebody to be subservient to you. Through like that spell.
Yeah.
Just a different version of it, one more so based around like romance.
Yeah, that makes
rather
sense.
than just like slavery or like puppeteering.
Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff that could connect like that. Like the thorn bush from the earlier one.
Yeah. I liked the imagery of finding a briar that's connected on both sides, like or rooted on both sides, and you just kind of like crawl under
briar.
You crawl under it. In essentially, like in my mind, I'm like that's you crawling into another world, which makes total sense. And yeah, that's cool. I love that. So that one I was saying you can skip. There is one interesting thing I want to tell you from it.
Yep.
And this is more so just a message to you specifically. Feel free to craft your own Samhain traditions that reflect your personal beliefs and spiritual practices. From journaling about your intentions for the upcoming year, to creating art or crafting with natural materials. That sounds very like you. The possibilities are endless. The key is personal authenticity, allowing Samhain's magic to weave itself into your unique life tapestry. You can make like Halloween soaps, like cool things like that, and just like you could just like try to make that more powerful.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's something that you love to do. It's something that you're already good at doing, and already like something that's essentially like connected to the spiritual and connected to the magical without you even like real like it's such a physical thing that you're doing. It's like a hobby, but you could just connect it so easily. It's really, and then it's like it says that about Samhain, but that's literally, I believe that's about all magic. Literally, just make it your own, make it feel right to you, and it's real.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
You'll get the feeling when you know you're in the right direction. And, maybe chanting wasn't the right direction. Seriously,
It was chanting and meditation.
meditation is the right direction, I think, because like I'm not like a huge meditator, but like I'm essentially meditating like at some point when I'm trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
Meditation is kind of just going to come natural to the process.
Yeah,
I think.
I think you're right. All right. So which one of these should I read first? How to summon entities?
That's the one I think you should do last. The 5 Samhain spells that actually turned out pretty cool. I think you just like tap it like because she even gives. I think it's a lady. She gives examples of like actual like spells, and they're not the traditional ones we've been reading about. You know what I mean?
All right. Make your Halloween season extra magical with one of these simple Samhain spells. As you may know, October 31st is not just Halloween, but also the ancient pagan holiday of Samhain. In Samhain, rituals, recipes, and lore for Halloween, Diana Rochelle writes, to the Celtic people, Samhain marked for the start of the winter season. It was the time when the final harvest was gathered before the inevitable plunge into the depths of winter's darkness. Fires were lit to help the wandering spirits on their way, and offerings were given in the names of gods and ancestors. Seen as a beginning, Samhain is often called the Witches' New Year. We honor our ancestors, wind down our activities, and get ready for the months of introspection ahead. As a portal to the dark half of the year, Samhain is a time when the veil is thin between the worlds of the living and the dead. It calls us to gaze bravely into the darkness and to make friends with all the mystery and wisdom and power it contains. These simple Samhain spells work with the unique energy that is present during the Halloween and Samhain season. Choose one that works. Choose one that speaks to you and perform it between now and October 31st. Samhain spell number 1. Overcome a fear. Halloween costumes and horror films are two mainstream ways our culture works with the dark and frightening energy of this time of the year to transform our unspeakable fears into something lighter, more playful, and more fun. This Samhain spell works with the same dynamic. Ingredients: a scary mask to represent your fear. Find one that gives you a similar feeling to your fear or emotionally/symbolically resonates with your fear in some way. You don't have to logically understand your choice as long as it intuitively feels right. A bouquet of chrysanthemums, any color. Mums assist us in gazing bravely into the darkness, and 4 white candles, and a lighter or matches. Place the white candles around yourself at the 4 compass points to create a small circle, approximately 5 to 7 feet in diameter. Light the eastern candle first, and then light the other 3 in clockwise order, so south, west, and north respectively. Scatter the mums outside the circle while moving in a clockwise direction. You can leave the stems on or just scatter the blossoms. Call on the goddess and god, or otherwise call on the divine presence in a way that feels powerful for you. Speak words from your heart about what your fear is, how it has negatively affected your life, and why you are ready to overcome that fear now. Ask for the boldness to look bravely into the shadows of your psyche, then ask for the assistance in transforming your fear into courage and strength. When you feel ready, don the mask, feel powerful and invincible. Instead of being afraid, feel fearsome and frightening. Be the embodiment of strength. Face east and say, I am no longer fearful but fearsome. I throw off the burden of fear and I'm now purged and purified by the element of air. Face north and say, I am no longer fearful but fearsome. I throw off the burden of fear, and I am now purged and purified by the element of earth. Face west and say, I am no longer fearful but fearsome. I throw off the burden of fear, and I am now purged and purified by the element of water. And face south and say, I am no longer fearful but fearsome. I throw off the burden of fear, and I am now purged and purified by the element of fire. And face east again and say, I am free, I am powerful, I am courageous, I am strong. Thank you, goddess, thank you, God. Thank you, elements, thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessed be, and so it is. Extinguish the candles, put on fun music, and dance in front of the mirror in your mask to make yourself laugh and break up any lingering traces of fear. Samhain spell number 2. Connect with the deceased loved one. Ingredients: a framed picture of your loved one, human or animal, a black candle plus a lighter or matches, a sweetgrass braid with a plate to catch burning embers. In addition to protecting from negative energy and entities, sweetgrass smoke creates a doorway of light through which positive, beneficent spirits may enter. Light the sweetgrass braid so it's smoking like incense, not burning like a log on a fire. Carry the plate beneath it and smudge the entire room and area while moving in a clockwise direction. Then I think they meant then safely extinguish it by running it under water or sealing it in a large jar. Sit in front of the photo and place the black candle near it. Light the candle, gaze at the photo of your loved one while relaxing deeply. When you feel ready, close your eyes and connect with your loved one on the interdimensional realm. Feel and sense his or her essence, and spend time with them just as you would do if they were sitting before you in the physical realm. When this feels complete, thank them for being present with you. Let the inner vision go and open your eyes. Samhain spell number 3. Increase your magical power. Ingredients: a red pillar candle, 1 cup sea salt, and 1 stick of cinnamon and clove incense, and incense holder. Well, we can't really do the incense. We can't really do the cloves because cloves might be radioactive right now. Just wanted to throw that out there. For this simple Samhain spell, draw a warm bath, place the candle near the bathtub and light. Also light the incense. Dissolve the salt in the water by stirring with your right hand in a clockwise direction. And stand above the tub and direct your palms downward toward the water. Visualize very bright light coming up from the store of the earth and through your feet, and also coming down from the sky and through the crown of your head. See the light meet in your heart area and move down your arms and out through the palms into the water. Say, at this sacred time of Samhain, as the veil thins, I call upon the ancient magic of God and Goddess, cosmos, and earth. Please purify me of all illusion so that I may see the truth of my magical power and embody it bravely and fully with the mastery and with love. Thank you. Safely waft the incense smoke around yourself before getting in the water, then soak for at least 20 minutes. You can extinguish the incense at any point if it gets to be too much. Samhain spell number 4. Protect your home from unfriendly spirits. It's no
This is going to
secret
be
that
highly useful for the season. This is a very practical one to use.
Yeah, it is. It's no secret that unseen spirits like to gallivant around during Samhain season. This makes it an appropriate time to cast a Samhain spell like this one to protect your home from spirits you'd rather not have as house guests. Ingredients: 9 cloves of garlic, a half-pint mason jar, olive oil. Empower the garlic by holding it in bright sunlight for a minute or 2. Peel and roughly chop the garlic and place it in the mason jar, and fill the garlic with olive oil and stir with a chopstick or butter knife 9 times in a clockwise direction and leave overnight. The next morning, as the sun is rising, lightly anoint the outside of your front door with the oil, then move in a clockwise direction around your space, lightly anointing every window and door with the oil. You can save the remainder of the oil for the future protective use. For example, you can anoint your third eye with the oil to keep unsavory entities at bay while traversing potentially haunted places or spiritually treacherous situations. Although be aware that you will smell like garlic. As another example, you can anoint photographs of people whom you'd like to protect. Samhain is famous for allowing us to clearly see things that are often mysterious or invisible. Naturally, this makes it a particularly powerful time for divination. This is for the fifth one, gain insight and wisdom. Ingredients: an opal, a white candle, a tarot deck, or an oracle deck if you don't read tarot. This one I think sounds up my alley. Empower the opal in the light of the moon, then place it next
Wait,
to the
wait,
candle.
wait. What the hell's an oracle deck?
I don't know. Let's look real quick. It takes me to Amazon, and I have to sign in. I don't feel like it.
Oh, nice. Oracle deck. Is it just like a bunch of fortunes, like a bunch of different options in a deck?
Oracle deck. Tools for divination. Each card typically carries a unique message or theme. Unlike tarot, oracle decks have no standardized structure or number of cards. They can be used for guidance, inspiration, or personal insight. Users often draw cards intuitively to explore the questions or situations. Interesting. All right. Empower the opal in the light of the moon, then place it next to the candle on a table. Light the candle, call on the divine in a way that feels powerful for you, and bring to the mind the situation you'd like to gain wisdom about. From your heart, ask for guidance and insight. Shuffle your deck when you feel ready. Stop shuffling and cut the deck once or twice. Deal the top 4 cards around the candle and opal, facing outwards like petals in a flower, one on top and one to the right, and one at the bottom and one to the left. The top card symbolizes your current situation. The one on the left represents your hopes, fears, and expectations. The one on the bottom indicates the roots of the karmic pattern, why you're experiencing this situation, and how it can help you to evolve. The one on the left is your divine advice for how to proceed or how to approach the situation. Take some time just to look at the images and get a feeling for the entire reading. Then, when this feels complete, you can feel free to consult the guidebook for the Oracle or Tarot deck to gain further insight. All right, that one was interesting. Halloween is fast approaching, with people worldwide preparing their costumes, decorating their homes, and buying lots of candy for prospective trick-or-treaters before October 31st. But it's also a sacred time of the year for spiritual practitioners, including witches who see Halloween or Samhain as their own version of New Year's Eve. Pronounced Samhain, the holiday has its... Oh, well, I guess we can skip this. This is where you are at your most intuitive, especially if you are Scorpio, as Halloween falls within the Scorpio astrological season. Some of us feel the energies of the spirits as they come and go, and we can celebrate the cycle of life and death as the witch's year and the nature around us has passed. Carney added Samhain has its roots in Celtic practices, particularly in Ireland. A lot of this, I feel like a lot of this is pretty redundant, honestly. All right.
Wait,
Jackal-
that's just explain the beginning of Samhain, so you can just skip all that until you get to the part
That's
where like.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm halfway through the article.
Oh, okay. But she should have like some of those DIY tips.
Yeah, hold on. Jack-o'-lanterns. These have been used for centuries to light the path home for family spirits and ward off unwanted energies. Carney explained, noting that the carving process should be started with a guided intention. As you carve your pumpkin, you should make it a ritual, set a vibe with incense and music as you turn your pumpkin into a protective ward for the evening. But if you don't have the energy or ability to carve a pumpkin this year, no energy or ability to carve a pumpkin, that's okay, Carney said. You can use any tea lights or candles, which can work just as well, and at this time of year you can get some great pumpkin-shaped candle holders which can do the job and look just as cool. I don't know, a lot of this stuff seems kind of chuggy to me, but what do I know? Otherwise known as soul cakes,
Ooh.
these shortbread-looking cookies are handed out as a way to commemorate the dead. Soul cakes are generally a gift for the spirits, can be left as offerings on Samhain night. Carney said, if baking isn't for you, get yourself your favorite cookies or biscuits and some icing pens. Simply add some sigils or names of the dearly departed you're leaving them for. So we could put like the sigil of Satan on these soul cakes.
Yeah. So yeah, like Halloween it's not just for the dead, and also I should mention like we got to make sure we talk about Dia de los Muertos.
Go ahead, mention them.
Well, that's all I know is that it's the Day of the Dead. I don't know anything about it, but maybe we could slip that into one of the future episodes.
I was gonna say, isn't that early November?
I thought it was Halloween.
I thought it was early November. November 1st to November 2nd.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We should do a Dia de los Muertos episode.
Yeah, we'll do that as the post-Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Do-it-yourself protection spell. Carney shared her perfect protection spell for any baby witch hoping to dabble in the spiritual world, and is a perfect Halloween spell to protect against any spirits trying to cross over into our world. Carney recommends using the Sense of Salem candle from Ginger Ray to do the spell, because 100% of the proceeds go to the organization Women's Aid to help end family violence against women and children.
Well, that's a good call. Use that candle, guys.
Yeah, I agree. The spell. Light the candle and take 5 deep breaths. Once you have calmed your breathing, engage in some witchful thinking. I like how they said that.
I am starting to not like her.
Let's see, I liked that. I like the witchful thinking.
That's,
And
of
begin to-
course, as soon as you start to like it, I'm like, I don't know about that. We're just two different kinds of warlocks, dude.
I like charm, I guess. And begin to visualize what you wish to attract and protect in your life, or what negativity you wish to banish, Carney said. If you wish to elevate the ritual and make it witchy as fuck, witchy AF, but, you know, we all know what that means.
Oh my god.
You could write these down on paper to burn and destroy at the end of the ritual to release the energy. Once you have set your intent, recite these powerful affirmations as the candle burned through the scent. I love the witchy as fuck. Scent 1, Tongue of Toad. This space is mine. This space is clear. This space is safe. Any energy I do not permit cannot enter. This space is mine. This space is clear. This space is safe. Carney says, visualize the smoke from the candle flame banishing the toxicity and allowing you to find comfort in your surroundings. Try opening the windows to help the negative energy flow out. Scent 2, Dew of the Sea. I do not chase, I attract, and what I attract is positive. Carney's tip, take deep breaths and visualize a bright white light surrounding you. With every breath in, absorb this positive light, and with every breath out, push out the negative energy. Feel that release. Scent 3, Blood of Hestia. My boundaries are firm and the walls are high. The gate can open for the good. Carney says this is the perfect time to have a cleansing bath to wash off all the negativity from the outside world. You can use lavender or chamomile oils in your bath to help promote meditation, protection, and intuitive dreams. Scent 4, Elf Leaf. I am open and ready to attract and receive all the love and abundance the universe has to offer, and so it is. Carney notes that lavender is a great way to end this ritual, as it is perfect sleep aid. Burn the candle whilst performing your bedtime routine, such as skincare, meditation, to encourage the psychic dreams and guidance whilst you sleep. I love the lavender tip there. I love lavender. All right. Next one. Everything you should know about contacting the ancestral dead. Is that the next one?
Let me look. 1 second. Yes.
Coming from lunalunamagazine.com by Sophie Moss. Everything you should know about contacting the ancestral dead. When we lose a loved one, many people believe that they are permanently gone, banished to a plane, heaven, or nothingness from where they can no longer hear us. Some people are fierce non-believers, others choose to believe in nothingness out of fear or grief. Since childhood, I've always believed in a gateway, a tween through which the living can make contact and the dead can whisper back. So the curious child started to write. I would pen letters, hoping to bridge the gap between worlds. I would write notes to dead people I didn't know, or supernatural characters from books and television shows. I was enthralled by realms that I couldn't put my hands on and feel obsessed with doors that wouldn't open. With age, I learned to understand my curiosity, my spirituality. The occult, particularly witchcraft, has played an important role in how I define myself as a human, a woman, and writer. I mean, this is her saying this.
You should.
But-
This is why you gotta start saying, explaining that you're reading
Yeah.
from an article.
I did give a good call and say this is Sophie Moss
Yes.
at the beginning of this. I did give her full credit. I don't believe that people we love ever really leave us, not even in death when we have a problem. We can ask for assistance. When we're unsure, we can ask for guidance. Indeed, we can use ritual spellcasting as means by which to contact lost loved ones and ask them to work with our own spiritual source to demystify our path, nudge us in a certain direction, or send help to ask them to whisper back. I just love the idea of that. Our loved ones, us contacting them after they're like resting peacefully and being like, hey, we got to put you to work. Let's go. I always love that
Does
idea.
that work though?
I mean, kind of.
Don't you think they'd be happy to do something like that?
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I have learned a lot over the
Hey,
years
grandma,
about...
dance for me. Your grandma would love to do that.
No.
No, maybe not yours, but like a lot of people's grandmothers, that they'd be like, why couldn't we have done this while I was alive?
I have learned a lot over the years about witchcraft, spirituality, and the afterlife from Silver Ravenwolf's Solitary Witch, and have taken influence from the volume Spellwork to create a Luna guide to making contact with the ancestral dead through the art of letter writing. Supplies: a selection of stones, minimum 3, a purple candle, paper, pen, envelope, and lighter. Choose an outdoor space. I prefer to choose a location that carries certain resonance either for myself or the loved one with whom I am seeking to make contact. A place that allows me to feel close, safe, and connected. Ultimately, choose a space that feels as sacred or as neutral as it feels right to you. Whether you go to the local park bench on which you and your lost loved one shared your first kiss, or whether you regard your own back garden as the safest and most comfortable space in which to make contact. The choice is entirely yours. Remember, it is your intent that matters most. Arrange your stones at this point. It is about doing what feels most comfortable for you. This is not about rigidity. If you prefer to follow the guidelines of Wicca, arrange 3 stones in the shape of a pyramid to represent the witch's pyramid. Otherwise, collect enough to spell out the initials of the person you will be honoring. Again, this is not about the meticulous rule abiding, but rather honesty and intent. If something doesn't feel right, play around with it until it does. Light a purple candle. Purple corresponds with the expansion of the self, of spiritual power, knowledge, and consciousness. Once lit, ground yourself and focus your energy on the loved one with whom you are seeking contact. Imagine a bright light filling up your body, traveling through cells and organs, coming out through the fingers into the candle you are holding, and at this point you can intonate prayers to the deceased. I don't follow a single specific religious path and instead choose to maintain focus and silence, finishing by placing my candle by the stones. Number 4, write a letter to one of the people you are honoring or have honored in your prayer. It is the contents of this letter that you will communicate whatever your reason for contacting. Ask for their help, detail your problem, thank them for all that they have done, tell them you miss them. Whatever your reasons, write them all down. Once you have done this, place the letter in the envelope and seal with a final kiss. Number 5, burn the letter. Place the envelope on top of the stones and focus your intent once more. Take the candle and burn the letter, watching the coal ashes escape in the wind as it carries your message to its recipient. Be contented in the knowledge that your questions are being answered. Once finished, leave your stones untouched. That was Sophie Moss. All right. And best way to contact the spirit world for beginners.
So that one's more of like somebody asking, and there's
Yeah, I was
some
gonna
really
say,
good
it's just a
answers.
picture. Best ways to contact the spirit world for beginners. And the top comment is, if you want to contact spirits, study invocation and take it seriously. It's not as spooky, dangerous as people make it out to be, but it's not a parlor game either.
I'm sure one day we'll do a full crash course on invocation, but probably not today, right?
Yeah. It says the lucky hoodoo spirits are easy to contact. The ritual is pretty simple. Feel free to look it up.
Well, I thought I saw like a really long answer in there that seemed good. It's okay if they talk about invocation. I'm just saying we're not going to explain to the people everything about invocation right now.
The simplest way is to create an altar for the spirits you want to contact and then meditating before the altar, asking for communication. You will generally get something, even if you're not naturally inclined to second sight/spirit voices. If you're not getting strong feelings about things, start asking for physical evidence. E.g., if you were trying to work with Poseidon, ask for a clear sign in the shape of Poseidon or a dolphin or something similar uncommon. I wouldn't recommend the Ouija, though. That's a possibility, and same goes for pendulums. Both are too easy to influence. I think this is the one you were talking about.
Let's hear it.
By Galad on Reddit, contacting the spiritual world is not something a beginner could or should do. Beginners should train their senses so that they will not be beginners anymore, and only then they will be able to have two ways of communication with the spiritual world. Prayer is a way anyone could contact the spiritual world, but being able to receive and understand an answer requires some preparation, unless you're lucky enough to be contacting a spirit that's able to get to you. It's certainly possible to receive messages. I'm not trying to gatekeep anything, but without the necessary knowledge and practice, you incur the risk of falling for delusions. The risk is present, albeit in inferior measure, even when your spiritual senses are developed, so always approach the matter with a healthy level of skepticism. One thing that is important to know is that there are three main ways to contact the spiritual world. Psychic contact, you move your consciousness there. Invocation, you bring a spiritual being into the material world. 3, medium, you temporarily host a spiritual being within your body. Forget about the number 3 because it's too risky. The second one is the one that requires the most preparation
Oh, chill out.
and wider knowledge.
That's the funnest one.
That's the funnest one. So you're left with the first one, unless you want to embark on years of study and practice of ceremonial magic. Psychic faculties are developed through daily exercise. Meditation is the key for this one. I don't know of many good books on these topics because the ones I know would contain a wealth of information and instructions that would be useless to you as they are out from your scope. Alice Bailey's From Intellect to Intuition is a decent guide to understand and practice meditation. I read it many years ago. Alan Kardec's Spirit Manifestations is another book that contains practical instructions, but I didn't read it from the cover to cover because the topic doesn't really interest me. My brother is into Spiritism, though, and he warmly recommended it to me. He slapped the book in my hands when I asked him for a good reading on the topic. I trust him. Cool. That was definitely the one you were talking about.
So that guy was gatekeeping a little bit. That person.
Yeah, he was definitely gatekeeping.
Listen, it's the new Christmas. Okay, we can contact our dead. We can ask for help. We can empower ourselves. We can have fun. It's Halloween time. Even when we were going over like the very first part of this, and you're going over all this, it mentioned that like aliens and other entities, like it's also a good time to contact them. Just anything that's not from our world.
So we should be contacting the aliens.
I mean, whatever feels right.
All right.
Let's also take into account that, it's not just our world celebrating this, and that, these other realms, planes that you're trying to contact, like they're probably doing the same thing. So be open to contact. Open up your body for another being to explore.